¿Tiene un mensaje para todos mis amigos en los Estados Unidos?
¿No?
¿No? Ni hola, ni...
Bye, hola.
Okay, YouTube, so first things first, please excuse the shaky camera. I promise that it relaxes in just a few seconds. So what we're looking at here are some of the houses in Tijuana, cerca de los cerros, next to the hills, which is the residential area. Pretty much looks like a bunch of favelas. And right here we're turning left. I believe this was when we were heading down to Rosarito to eat, and afterwards we were going down to La Bufadora, and it's basically this spot where the ocean meets some rocks. The water gets sucked into the rocks. When it tries to come out, there's too much pressure and it basically shoots up to like a hole or something. It wasn't really working though that day. Unfortunately, it was low tide. But yeah, take a look at this bus. So I was talking with my fiance's Tio, her uncle, and apparently these buses are owned privately, and they pretty much stop wherever you need them to, which is pretty convenient for the most part. But on the other hand, if it's making a bunch of stops every other few feet, it's kind of inconvenient and it could take more time. But really, it's kind of a cool idea if you think about it, that this bus will travel around the city and basically drop you off like, hey, I need to get off here, and they'll drop you off for whatever price. I do know that there are a lot of scams in regards to taxis and things of that nature in Mexico, even though there are a lot of people who do follow the rules. You saw that car we just passed. It was kind of halfway, into the second street. They really do drive a little crazy out there in Mexico. Definitely not like in the United States. Another interesting thing that I noticed is that it's very common when in Mexico to park half on the street and half on the curb. Like, see, these cars here are pretty good parked, but if you go to a lot of the residential streets, you'll notice that they pull up actually onto the curb half of their car. So it's like their car is not flat on the ground, half of it's on the curb, the other half is on the street. Maybe that's just because some of these streets are very narrow and they need to make some room. So take a look at these houses. Right? It's like these are just like stacked houses, right? On the outside, they look really bad, but on the inside, a lot of them are very nice. At least the ones that I went into, all the houses that my fiance's family owns were very nice on the inside. But as you can see, the outsides aren't very nice. If one thing you got to keep in mind is if you do not like graffiti, do not plan to stay very much time in Tijuana, right? Now, if you look straight ahead, you can see basically the houses on the hills. A lot of them are falling over. A lot of them look like people don't even live there, but I was assured by my fiance's family that people live in every single one of these houses. And as you see, there's another one of those another one of those buses which are supposedly privately owned. I might need some confirmation on that. I'm not 100% sure. But yes, here we go into a more residential area. Now, honestly, I really like a lot of the architecture here in Mexico. I enjoy the layout of the houses, how they're stacked and whatnot. And a lot of it's not built up to code. If there was some kind of earthquake, it would fall over. But there are a lot of investors and people from the United States who spend their money and they actually do build them to code. So that's always nice. I noticed that there are a lot of liquor stores, like a lot of small stores where they sell some basic things. Very common in Mexico. Now, I probably enjoyed most about Mexico is, at least in my specific situation, was the tight-knit feeling of the family, right? It was very different than being here in the United States. I feel like people, like for example, when my fiance's Tio needed to find her other Tio, his brother, he did not call him. He simply drove around the neighborhood looking for him, asking people if they knew where he was at, and then eventually we see there's one of the cars see how the cars are parked halfway on the street halfway? That's exactly what I was talking about. But anyways, he basically walked around asking people if they'd seen him until finally we found him eating tacos on the corner, hanging out with some friends. So that was pretty cool, and I enjoyed that. But another thing that I noticed that I really enjoyed about our trip is that it seemed that, like, a lot of the things that you would need in your day-to-day life were very, like, close, right? I felt like you didn't really need to go far to get things. Like, if you needed, you know, some groceries, or if you needed, you know, anything, something to drink, food, just the basic necessities, you can basically walk there wherever you're at. A lot of these houses that you see, they also have, you know, a lot of garage sales, and a lot of them are vendors. You know, they operate as businesses, so that can be convenient. You can get some good finds there. Now, where we're driving right now, it's kind of a factory type area. There's a lot of factory jobs in Mexico, a lot of warehouse type jobs. They don't pay much from what I hear, but I know that they do have a lot of them, and a lot of the times they do hire foreigners because of their bilingual aspect, right? Right now, if you look to the right, you see all the graffiti. These are actually pretty nice graffiti work. This is very, very common here. It's starting to look a little more industrialized, a little bit more like the United States. This street that you're seeing here is actually one of the absolute best paved streets that I seen while I was over there in Mexico visiting, right? And it's interesting the way this city works. Like, it'll seem really, you know, advanced at one point, and then literally like a block away, it will just seem like a complete third world country, as some would call it. Basically, Tijuana is basically just this place full of hills everywhere, nonstop, and that's basically where all of the houses are built. Unfortunately, some of the hills began to sink a number of years ago, and all the houses that were located on these hills basically got trashed, basically began to slide down the hill, and the sad part is people still continue to live in them because they have no place to go. Now, something that I wanted to mention, which is basically an insight that I have based on Mexican culture, the culture in Mexico, and it's basically the tight knit family values, right? If you think about it, in Mexico, there's not too much distraction, at least in Tijuana and the people that I met, in regards to the media, in regards to electronics. They don't spend too much time playing video games or on the internet. They spend a lot more time with family, driving around, experiencing things, and because of that, the families seem to be a lot closer than they are in the United States. Everybody, I mean, there had to have been like at least 20 uncles that I met, right? Including aunts. See, there's another car halfway parked on the sidewalk and the street. Very common. But yeah, they don't have a lot of these distractions that we have here in the United States, and that's something that I enjoyed. I feel like moving to Mexico for at least 6 months would be a good way to, you know, basically have a nice little electronics fast, like not having to deal with it. But see, if you see that greenhouse right there with the gate, that is a very nice house. I guarantee you behind those gates there's some really nice stuff within the walls of that house, and I can definitely see myself living in a house like that, even buying one. I would love to do that and just have a motorcycle and drive around. Man, you guys have no idea how great that feels. But anyways, guys, I hope this video was enjoyable to you, and I will be making another one. If we just passed the dog, it's kind of hard to see. I believe that was a dog. But thank you guys for watching this video, and I plan on visiting soon. I'm actually thinking of starting a Patreon to basically gain money. There's another dog. So that I can go down to Mexico and donate all of it to a single person, maybe a kid vending things. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. But as you just seen this street I just turned right on, there's streets coming from every which direction. It's like an intersection where like 5 streets meet. It's pretty insane. But I really do like the way the city is set up, and it was very enjoyable. But yes, I will be setting up a Patreon to collect donations. When I reach $100, I will donate it to a kid I see working hard down there in Mexico, and I think that would be something great to do, and I'll make a video of it for proof so you guys know I'm not bullshitting. And those $100 will go a long way. Those $100 will pretty much pay the half of the family's rent for the month. So yes, with that being said, guys, thanks for watching this video. Los amo y nos vemos pronto. Paz.